What if you could travel to parallel worlds? The same year, the same Earth, only different dimensions. A world where the Russians rule America. Or where your dreams of being a superstar came true. Or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison. My friends and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final time for Season 2 of Sliders 2, Circling the Vortex, Episode 23. We are looking at Season 2, Episode Vamp while he checks 23. Because 23, that actually isn't the... No, it's 23 total, isn't it? That's the 23rd total episode, but the episode... What number is it in Season 2? Have I been doing that? I've lost track.
Episode 13. Episode 13, Series 2, and obviously 13, there were 10
pause for effect.
Episodes.
I would have to be.
Series
if it's
13,
13, then yeah.
Anyway,
But are we missing the...
We are 20 plus episodes in.
We are deep. We are deep in Sliders.
We are deep in the slide tunnel right now.
I am Ben, and I'm joined by Nathan. I'm just, let's be honest. He is from the real world. He's from Earth Prime, in which Boris Johnson somehow is the Prime Minister. And frankly, that sometimes makes me think stuff like that maybe we slid and didn't realise. That somehow we are living in an actual alternative reality with pandemics, crazy Prime Ministers and Presidents, all the weird, awful, freaky world shit we deal with. Maybe we've just quietly shifted into the darkest timeline.
I spend, normally spend these trying to create hideous worlds for Ben to inhabit.
Turns out
this world was the scary one all along. Pandemic.
Wow, what a fantastic vibe to convey in the finale of season 2, which is a very strange season finale in terms of season finales, I think.
I guess because of the fact it's not a season finale. The season finale.
Yeah, but even the episode that should have been the season finale wasn't really a season finale.
No, but it was better.
It's a good episode, the one that should have been, The Young and the Relentless. Yeah. We like that episode.
I guess that one at least would have been a nice point to end on.
And obviously last time we talked about Invasion, which does in many ways.
Oh, that would have been a perfect finale. You end with Invasion.
So there was some interesting debate about this on the Reddit, which I was reading, and some people proposing exactly that, and other people countering with, because it's not in keeping with the overall sort of feel of Sliders, it maybe wouldn't be the best finale. It's not a good representation of Sliders, where I think this episode actually is quite ambitious in concept and execution.
In execution?
Well, painfully limited by budget.
It was definitely extravagant in concept. Yes, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We don't want to jump the sliding gun.
We've got 2 other worlds to talk about before we even talk about the third one. So we need to to do them all.
We do have 2.
Yeah.
Is this how? We don't often get 3-worlder.
No, normally it's 2, isn't it? Because you start with the cold open potentially on another planet when they slide out at the beginning or around the time of the credits, and then they arrive somewhere, and that's the storyline. But yeah, one we
actually got a fair bit of time in each 3. We
did. Different.
I'm not used to a 3-worlder. I'm not going to complain, but I will do in a bit.
So why don't you start us off with a recap?
Gosh, so we start there. What was World War? Yeah, they're just all on the roadside.
Yeah.
Sort of touting for work, pickup trucks coming along. I'll give you, what did he say, like 50 peso? Did he say pesos?
Yeah, it was 50 pesos is what they argued they should have got, but they only offered him 40. So it's like he was trying to undercut the normal rate.
So yeah, obviously there was just trying to get work. And there was a Canadian man I can't even remember what he said. He was just like, "Oh, hey, bro," to Arturo, and he just suddenly just.
Do you know what? You know, I asked you about some of the strange language choice. I think what it is what they're trying to say is that all of the white immigrants that are in this new world, this Spanish created colony of America, they gave it a name. I can't remember what it was. They're all from Canada, right? So that's why they're talking in that sort of kind of like overly chummy Canadian way, I guess.
Canadian accent. But...
I couldn't do one. Yeah, it's quite distinctive.
He says something.
There's a few moments where you're like, wow, that's weird, like vernacular. But that's because they've written them as Canadians, which I guess we've got a few sort of elements here that are distinctly, Americana, so the idea of picking up day laborers from illegal immigrants on the roadside is very much part of certain parts of American culture, whereas it's not, and it's kind of his, kind of modern history and a bad, unfortunate side of history. But it's not really something we've ever had in the UK, so it's not necessarily something we connect with. And then yes, the idea of the chummy, sort of overly friendly, polite Canadian is also very American, and
just something that he's Canadian. I can't remember what Arturo snaps back with, but it's like, "Oh, don't be disrespecting.
I'm not your brother." I think he says, isn't it? I'm not your sibling.
I'm not your sibling, and something.
Yeah.
Oh, he says like I was, given good birth or some weird, not quite.
I have come from a strong lineage or something strange.
Yeah,
isn't
something basically just really pretentious and just a bit mean, frankly.
So this episode originally was part of that sort of slew of episodes towards the beginning of the season in which we got really just irascible Arturo, and I know we were commenting on it a lot when we were covering them. Like, he was just the most miserable version of that character that they possibly could have. And for quite a portion, not all of this episode, I would say, but in the beginning part of this episode, he is just, you want to punch the guy, like, every time he opens his mouth.
He just wasn't being friendly,
He just wasn't being a chum, was he? He wasn't getting along. So they get, it's a really weird scene, this. So they get busted up in this opening, pre-credits. They're trying to find work, and the police show up. The Spanish immigration police, I guess. And Quinn tries to escape.
Wade, Arturo.
What exactly? I'm still not sure. We didn't rewatch this, but he seems to try and slide over the front of like a police jeep and just sort of hits his head. At first I thought maybe he hit him with a truncheon or something, punched the guy. I don't think so. He just seemed to bang his head somewhere, which caused him quite a bit of bother. He hurt himself.
Quinn took a tumble. Okay, it can happen.
He
took a tumble, but he got away. He managed to thwart the jeep with pallets.
As we know, the strongest defense against jeeps.
Wooden pallets.
Yep. 100%.
Well, yeah, because actually they do kind of give up chasing him. He just sort of shouts on the loudhailer about, "Oh, I swear on my mother's grave, I'll find you." Seems a bit odd, but
I mean, it's just one immigrant doing a runner. I mean, why is this guy taking it so personal?
He is
it's like,
one immigrant away from Employee of the Month.
Honestly, this guy is into his job in ways we don't normally see, and you kind of have to respect it. Anyway, so Quinn hides by a wall, scales said wall, ends up falling down and getting attacked by dogs. He just has a really bad day, really bad morning.
The dogs are barking, and a maid comes along, and I think she calls the dogs Nitro and Cajun.
Strong. Good names for a couple of pitbull type mastiffs or something. Yeah, mean looking dogs. Nitro. And then of course, as only can happen to Quinn.
As can only happen to Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah. She stripped him all but naked.
Well,
put him in a bed.
He's like, "Oh, Dayla," and then he passes out a bit.
What is with this name?
Dalen.
Dalen? What the fuck is this name?
It's not a name I'm familiar with, I'll be quite honest.
No. And in his kind of hurt head, addled way, it turns out those two were a hot item, I think.
In school.
In school until the 10th grade. Do we know what that equates to? Do you know what that equates to, Nate? Age-wise, 15, 16?
I don't know what it is in English school years.
I think it's something like that. So, hot and fancied during puberty. She moved away. They were the hotties. They were the popular kids.
Dalen
well, he was,
and Little Quinn.
Little Quinn. That I don't want to think about what that was his pet name for. Or maybe it was her pet name. But now you mention it. No, you brought that up.
I did not.
I mean, Nathan, you brought that up, mate. I mean, you're a filthy animal.
I mean, young Quinn. Don't make this. Don't make this.
Don't make this weird.
Else.
Don't make this weird. Okay.
Weird.
Too late. Too late. I've made it weird.
So obviously she's hiding him, and he kind of wakes up. She does the cliche of get into the basement and then kicks his shoes under the best
bit is when he wakes up and he's not got any clothes on. He doesn't question that. At no point does he go, "Why'd you take all my?" In
his defence, he did have a very nasty tumble earlier in that day.
I mean, he had a hurt head, and it turns out maybe a bit of a hurt leg. But
he had a bandage on his leg. He had a tumble. I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt. He's
also
a little bit achy.
If you're unconscious, have you ever tried to be undressed by someone when you're unconscious? It's hard work.
Firstly, no.
That's not easy to do.
Secondly,
if you're unconscious,
I would be unconscious, so I wouldn't know.
Well, have you ever tried to undress someone who was unconscious?
No.
I can tell you, it's very difficult because they're all limp.
Well, maybe she
really put the effort in.
Gave each dog a trouser leg, got them to run. I don't know.
Nitro and Cajun, well trained. But I think she was just very motivated because she likes. What was it? She implied she always looks after hurt animals. Or something weird.
Oh, she said my mum always said I was a magnet for the walking wounded. Or her grandma said.
Okay. So he's now hiding, and yes.
The owner, the matriarch of the house comes in and says, "Oh, was that a man I heard?" And then I don't know. She's just never been in her room before, but she notices the picture of her fiance for the very first time.
Oh, he's a handsome fella.
He's studying to be a doctor in grad school.
While also picking up day labour?
You got to pay to get through grad school. This is American education still.
I don't think it is. It's Spanish education at this point, isn't it? America doesn't exist.
It's still America. It would be Spanish America, just rather...
No, it wouldn't be America.
United States of America. It's still the Americas.
Yeah, but they call it something different, didn't they? So in America, USA never existed in this world because the Spanish colonized.
There is still America. There is one or more Americas.
Okay.
Anyway, his day labour to pay through grad school.
Yes.
I guess that's a little bit of his character exposition, and then we switch. I think it's at that point we switch to the other three, who are kind of on trial, and the lawyer's giving them. She's trying to help him.
She's trying to help, and Arturo is, in his typical way, ego above all else, and will not accept.
None of them are like. She's like,
help.
Would it would it be dangerous for you to go back home? And Remy's like, no.
Canada's quite nice, really.
No, would it be dangerous?
Yeah, right.
Are you fleeing from persecution? No. She's basically trying to give them anything, and they're just...
So, the implication I got from this was that what they've done here is not just make the United States Spanish, right? They've also flipped the script on Canada. So, Canada has become Mexico. So, for whatever reason, opportunities aren't good. Maybe it's persecution. And basically, the world it's implied, isn't it? Is basically Spanish speaking and dominated by non-English speaking cultures. So I don't know if you picked all that up, but there's a few little hints to that in this element. So I think the idea is that she's pushing for that because they're saying Canada is in a bad way, like Mexico's been in a bad way in reality in the past, and now it's never great for people down there. So, yeah,
Actually,
did you get all that?
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually get all that. I just was like, oh, Canada.
I think they did quite a lot here with quite a little. They actually were able to convey some interesting elements of this world with just a few little lines and sprinkled in inferences and stuff like that. They did a good job. I like how they built this world.
Would it actually be any of the Spanish? Because would it actually be still Southern or Central American? Because they mentioned that the Anglos lost the New World. I know, obviously, sort of Spain, Portugal.
Well, she also says something along the lines of, so they speak English and stuff. Like, there's the idea that, for the most part, culture has been dominated by Spanish speakers instead of English. So, it's interesting. Interesting world. I'll give them that. So we plot moves along. I can't speak. And
Moves very fast.
they get sentenced to deportation back to Canada.
Yeah.
And
Quinn. Okay, that's all right. Yeah.
Quinn and ex-Flame, whose name I've already forgotten because it's so poorly.
Dalen.
What was her name? Balin.
Dalen.
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 They all sound. All of it sounds like a name from Lord of the Rings. Why can't
it is not Dalen, son of Dorin.
Balin, son of Boromir, or something? It's what it kind of sounds like. It just has that. It has that vibe to it. But anyway,
Balin, son of Hundine. If we're being pedantic. This bit feels like there was something missing because they get intercepted on their way to deportation.
So yeah, because Dalen helps Quinn connect with her brother, who seems to be someone who does this stuff, like breaks people out of prison type transports. They do that.
It's very fast though. That sort of going from.
Well, yeah, but they've got plot to get to. They haven't even got to like.
We haven't even got to the main plot yet. Oh my goodness.
No, we've got a plot to get to. So
but yeah, they get intercepted.
Break out, and then slide.
Surrounded again. They get surrounded again.
They're crap. They just get captured a lot, it would seem. At the moment,
recaptured,
the gang.
captured back.
Activate the portal.
It turns out, what's his name? Canadian.
What's his name? The fiance, who's always the fiance /
Canada man.
Boyfriend.
Canada.
Yeah, but
he's betrayed
Balin's other half.
He's betrayed them for a green card.
Yeah, not good.
Her brother pulls out a knife, charges one of the cops, gets shot. At which point, Quinn's like, "Do you want to come with us?"
Yeah, she's literally cradling her brother who's just been shot and he's like unconscious and dying in her arms. Like, I got a hots for you. Would you like to, As earlier on, by the way, there was this weird scene where she was like not in the maid outfit and he's told her everything. And she's just like, it's weird, but okay, I believe you. I mean, and he seems to have this ability to make people believe him that he is this interdimensional traveller. I'm sorry. If somebody came, it doesn't matter what you said to me. I'm just not going to believe this.
No, you're thinking just people. If Jerry O'Connell came to you and said he was a traveller from a different dimension,
but not just Jerry O'Connell, but Jerry O'Connell with that hair,
90s
that
Jerry
O'Connell. You just want to touch that hair.
I'd be like, okay, I believe you, Jerry. I believe you.
You're so hot.
The only bit about this I was a little, not annoyed by, but I'm pretty sure in the previous episode, didn't they go over a whole point that they couldn't take more people with them? Because it was like putting stresses on the machine to like slide but they've
taken loads of people with them. What?
Yeah. There was something about, it can just about handle the four of us. We can't keep taking people.
Oh, it could be out of order stuff, couldn't it? That might have come up after this, as it were, and...
But like,
Maybe.
Quinn just dismisses that. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, because he has the hots for her.
Yeah, someone I knew from my childhood. She's cradling
Childhood
her
sweetheart.
potentially dying brother. Do you want to come with?
He sort of leans over and goes, "So you coming?" And she's like, "Bro's dying." It's like,
Slide. Oh,
sure,
okay.
sure. It's a weird thing, that invitation.
So
It's very
they
peculiar.
slide to just somewhere rainy with park benches.
But they're very happy because park benches have
They're in
English writing on them.
And then she's like,
Yes.
oh no, it's the San Fran Lions. In our world, it's the 49ers. So we've got a nice bit of bench position there.
That's brilliant. I love that.
I've been sitting on that one since I saw it.
Position.
Bench position.
Bench position. I love
Bench
that.
position.
Genius. Well done, you.
It's only going to happen
Very
in
happy
this
with
one
that.
episode.
Very happy with that.
So-
You should be proud of that.
I am.
Good.
So they mentioned they've got a few hours to do on this world. So naturally,
I've already forgotten. What is the thing about the second world?
nothing.
What is?
It has
There's
nothing weird about
special
it.
about the second world.
Not really. I think it's one of a minor world where it's just like not really a noticeable difference.
Okay, because basically
This world,
In
this world
this-
is Quinn looking
this
up
is
his
the
old
Quinn.
flame.
This is the Quinn storyline because they basically entirely. Remy gives him like a cheering up chat about how you've got 2 hours, and you know if you want to actually do something, if you want to catch up with her, there's a phone book. See if you can find her.
So
and he does.
he
And he
finds
goes
her.
over.
She's crying.
And she's knocks at the door. Oh, it's so creepy. He knocks on the door, opens the door, and this woman answers the door. Right, it's her. And literally, she's crying. And the first thing he does is stick his hand on her face, wipe away a tear, and goes, Have you been crying?" And it's
No.
like, what the actual? I mean, like, it is such a forward move. Like, I know Quinn is a bit of a player, and his
But
first
she
is
recognises
at-
him.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Thankfully, that'd be even.
So it's not-
It's
it's not
already
just-
very weird.
It's not just a stranger touching her face, but it's still pretty bad.
door-to-door tear man. No.
It's still pretty bad though. This guy not seen this since like 14, 15. It's got to be 10 years, right? Easy, if not a bit more, since they saw each other. And it's like, and he's still touching her face, and he's just, and she's, you know, she's looking pretty cute. She's to me, Nate, right? She's rocking that grunge look. That was such a. I mean, I grew up in this era. That was a hot look. That was a good look.
I was a little bit young at this point in the 90s. To me, it just looks like she looked at a Nirvana music video and thought, that is my fashion
Well, I mean,
from now on.
Yeah, but that is what it was. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where it all came from, so you're not wrong. But there's a great comedy moment that comes up in a minute in the scene, which you pointed out, which is just genius. But so they're getting to know each other a bit. He's telling her he didn't tell her where he's from, but he's just like, in this world, he moved away,
Yeah.
she stayed. And
And then he just straight up is like, oh, I had this fantasy where we run off together. Just
5 minutes in to seeing a girl you've not seen in 10 years, you're straight up telling her, so I've often think about you, and I'm going to use the word fantasy, which strongly implies other activities were involved while I was thinking about you. And it's just like...
it's a very
cool,
evocative word. He could have said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I used to dream that we'd run
dream.
away. That's like, okay.
Sometimes I would find myself in reverie about you.
I had a fantasy, just has certain connotations to it.
It would be me, it would be you, and it would be Wade. And she'd be like, who's Wade? Oh, you've not met Wade. But when you meet Wade, you'll be like, I see where you're coming from. And it's just like, what, mate? What is your play here? And yet it works.
Well,
only JC could pull this off. Like, JOC. Only he could do it. Only he could do it.
they're having a little tender moment, and then who bursts in? I can't remember his name.
What is his name?
Canada Man.
Canada Man.
Canada
who
Man.
Inextricably linked to this sort of character, to Balin, Galen, Dalen.
And he's playing the stereotypical, just bad.
Well, I dropped out of college
Husband.
to try and be Nirvana, but I'm shit. So I'm now beating up my wife to make myself feel better. Scumbag.
You can pull a can of beer out of nowhere, though.
He did magically make that can of beer like it must have been in his pocket. And I respect pocket beer. I like always being ready to have a cold one. Well, it might not have been cold. Probably
I
was,
genuinely
room
thought you'd
temperature.
opened a drink because I didn't see him with anything. And
You just hear this, and then there's up comes the can, and you're like, okay. I mean, we're in the hallway. He's not near a fridge. He just has beer ready. I like that.
But
It's
yeah,
good.
he's basically a grade A scumbag.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the concept here was, how can we, as quickly as possible, because once again, we've got a lot of plot in this episode. We've not even got to the best world yet. How can we, as quickly as possible, convey this character's traits? So he aggressively, they look out the window, don't they, when he arrives, and he like parks badly, stumbles out of the car. He's carrying a guitar case, so you already know he's a dirty musician. He's got his leather jacket on.
His bad boy jacket.
Scowl, and then he's drinking beer and he's threatening Quinn. Oh, he threatens Quinn when Quinn says, Dalen says, he said he knew you, and he goes, he's a damn liar then, because I don't know this guy. And it's like, right, he's aggressive, he's drinking beer, he's got a jacket.
Bad boy
we don't
jacket.
like him. We don't like him. Not next to clean cut, good guy Quinn.
And then
it's
basically just he runs upstairs, playing his music, or pretty much like a teenager.
He's just a dick. And basically
wakes up baby Julie.
Baby Julie, yeah,
Baby Julie.
who they have a kid, fair enough. And they've been married for he was good before he got married, he was nice, but now he's a scumbag. And he basically comes downstairs to shout and attack Dalen, just attack her, like, because he's frustrated and impotent
throws her
and
against
pathetic.
the wall, kind of thing.
Yeah, in front of a guy another guy, and I think it's fair to say, even if you weren't like particularly in love with this woman, like you were just a friend or an acquaintance or the door-to-door salesman, if you saw a dude attack a woman like that, I think pretty much any half-decent good guy is going to intervene, right? Like, you're not just going to stand there and go, yeah, fair enough, your wife, your house, beat the crap out of her.
Quinn,
I just don't think you're going to do that.
He does throw Quinn throws hands.
He steps in, and he times it pretty sweet, actually, and he clocks him. Like, he drops this guy like a sack of spuds. And it's very satisfying, because normally Quinn's a bit shit in fights. So this was great. Because, you built up everything about this character, you hated him. They did great shorthand storytelling with this to make you really despise him. So seeing that drop, you were like, not a fight, nothing. It's just turns into it, knocks him out, down, on the floor.
And then
she goes,
merge together beautifully.
This is amazing. So Quinn and Dalen, Galen, Balin are basically both wearing the same shirt in this scene. I don't understand why. I don't understand why costuming thought that was a good idea. Why the costume department thought that was going to be a good look, because she looks like she's wearing Quinn camouflage. Like, she's designed to blend into Quinn at any moment.
She's standing in front of him, and it just merges together.
So weird. It's just, what did you say? I don't know where Quinn begins.
She ends.
They become the human Quinipede, and it's just like, what is going on here? It's such a strange moment. But she basically says to him, "Is the offer of coming with you still on the cards?" And then the weirdest thing next scene.
Because he kind of
this is so weird. This is so weird.
Not quite fobs off. It's like, I can't really take a baby. And then the boyfriend or husband gets up and is like, yeah, you're welcome to her, or something. I think he doesn't
he? Basically says, like, yeah, get shot then. He's had enough.
So, what would you do in this scenario, Ben?
It's difficult. So, I mean, yeah. So, I think Quinn has got less interested when he realised she had a child. I'm not gonna lie. There is a vibe of that. A moment he got, you have a daughter? And he's like, he looks quite surprised and a little bit less interested.
So what would you do? How would you resolve the situation, Ben?
Backup plan. I'm going to call my double somehow in this world, ring him up, and I'm going to be like, hey, so you know that girl you had real hots for when you were about 15? So she's interested. Would you be interested in hooking up with her? Oh, and by the way, if you thought we sounded similar, it's because I am your double from another dimension. But I'm on the level, and he's doing this on the phone.
Never met.
I imagine it in like a 5-minute phone call.
Of Quinn is like.
No, he could be married. He could have no legs. He could be gay. He could be
evil.
So many. He could be evil. We've seen plenty of those.
He could be. This could be Cannibal Quinn.
Cannibal Quinn, serial killer Quinn, mathlete Quinn. Oh, we had that guy. I forgot we had mathlete Quinn.
Boris Johnson Quinn.
It's just such a weird punt that he's hoping. I guess he's basing this on the fact, right, that this world doesn't seem that different, right? So he's thinking maybe in this case, if the only difference was I moved away instead of she moved away, maybe that means there's a lot of similarity here.
I guess out of everyone on the planet,
it's a big risk.
Other Quinn is most likely to understand if he's been working on similar technology.
Yeah, so perhaps that's the thinking, that this is quite a parallel.
It makes sense. He's like, the only person you understand is me, but at the same time, he's winging a different version of himself.
He's wingmaning. Yes,
He is literally his own wingman.
He's literally hooking him up. He's hooking him up. He's pulled it off.
Himself up, but not himself. They do share a kiss though.
Quite a.
There was passion, and then he literally slides on out of there.
It's I've never seen. I mean, this is crazy. There's some stuff going on in this episode, right? Ideas. The idea of him wingmanning himself. The idea of him setting himself up with this other guy. So there is a level of, I guess, satisfaction for our Quinn there that he's. I know my double at least is getting some, which I guess is something to be happy about. But and then they leave, and he puts a few bucks in her hand to help her for the travel money, which is very gentlemanly, I have to say. But then they leave, and we get to the final world.
Oh, so here we get a bit of the
weirdest world I think we've possibly ever been to.
So I guess this is the point where budget limitations far exceeded, or the opposite, the concept.
It's both, and I think it speaks a lot to the struggle with this idea that I think there is an attempt at exposition at least twice, possibly 3 times, where either Quinn or Arturo tries to explain what is happening to Remy and Wade, because as a viewer, it's very hard to understand, like, how the concept is then visually represented on the screen. It really doesn't work. So it's an idea. It's so hard to even explain because it's not really fully formed.
What's the core tenet of this idea then?
Yes, bravo, sir, bravo. I was wondering which one of us would work that in first. Bravo. Yes, it is Tenet. It is Tenet Light. It is Tenet like 25 years beforehand.
It's Diet
Tenet. And it's Diet Tenet. It is Tenet on a budget. And yeah, so it's a world in which they are going in one direction through time, and the rest of the world is going the other direction. You can't talk about it in forwards and backwards because except they're not. Except that you never see that, and somehow you kind of just have to accept that they are telling you it's doing that. And the representation of that is a clock going backwards, and sometimes everything seems to sort of freeze and go wavy and wobbly.
They slide into prison straight away, like different
not
outfits.
Through a portal, nothing. Yeah, they just appear in prison.
That bit really, and I was like, what's happened? I was trying to work out, if they slid into their own versions, were the alternate versions like sliding away at the same time? They kind of switched. How did this happen? I guess it's still not 100% resolved.
So we know something's wrong because the timer's numbers are going up as well.
That's true. That actually would have been
an indicator.
No, that actually probably would have been that's actually a good little clue that I didn't really think about.
So the best bit is when they go, the timer's going haywire, right? Not within the budget to show the timer with numbers going up, but the only way they can do it is to do that. Yeah, you just did that noise of like, and it's like that means the timer's broken because they couldn't just show you the LCD screen of the numbers going up because it's not. They couldn't probably their timer at this point. I imagine they had the hero prop and then they have the regular prop and the hero prop. Well, we don't have the money for the hero prop, which has actually got numbers on it. So we're just never going to show the front of the timer again. So it's just like I always keep an eye out for it, and you just never see it anymore.
That's actually a good point.
Like,
We haven't.
No, it's been ages, isn't it? Since we saw
bet
that.
Jerry O'Connell broke it.
I bet someone sat on it. Yeah, probably. Someone just sat on the timer, broke it. Done. But yeah, so we now go from them in prison, convicted of murder, and then we go backwards to them at the arraignment, and then we go backwards to them like out on the land, and then we go backwards to the murder.
It's not proper
of
backwards.
Dalen Balin. But it's not backwards. It's like just scenes.
Each chunk goes separate. There's like a wibble effect, and then we're back a bit in time now.
So it's the scenes are out of order, are in reverse, but you don't see anything going backwards within the action. So but that all plays forwards like normal. I really can't understand it.
They can still interact with it fine. People can hear them. They're not like, walking backwards kind of thing.
So this is the thing that's so weird about it, right? They even have one bit where Arturo's talking about time's arrow and the Hawking's theory around the trajectory of time and how it could go in a different, it's arbitrary, and to us it would be forwards, but, if you were going the other way, yeah. That's real. That's real stuff, but it's just not represented well, and it's unfortunate because it's a big idea. It's probably one of the most ambitious ideas they have had for a concept for a world.
It took 20 plus years and Christopher Nolan to make it a reality,
and boy does he. Tenet's a masterpiece of visual cinematography, like story, logic, whatever, throw it out of the window, character, it just looks incredible, and his representation of forward and backwards of time at the same time is just insanely good.
You can see things actually.
It's mad, isn't it? It's
reacting to the backwards things. Do you think he stole the idea from Sliders? I would think so.
I would love that. If he saw a random episode. Do you think it's one of those things where the idea is percolated in his brain, right? Since he was a youngster, when he saw Sliders. And he can't quite remember what gave it to him, but really, we know. We know where it came from. It was Sliders.
I'm really hoping Christopher Nolan starts adapting some other Sliders episodes now.
And then we'll know, won't we? Yeah, we'll know.
Oh, we'll know.
Just ripping off Sliders. But no, it's just, they can't quite pull it off, but we get.
Oh,
right?
so they're in murder.
Then the finale.
No, they're in murder. They're in prison for the murder of Dalen.
Dalen Balin, yeah.
And Quinn is like, oh no, I'm going to stay here and not kill her. Because he's such a good guy.
Because how can Quinn not interfere? Because it's Quinn. At this point, we know if Arturo's ego will override all sense, Quinn's desire to do the right thing and be the hero will also override all sense. And we get that. At the risk of reality itself.
Oh, so they then don't kill her. There's a bit of a hoo-ha about undercover police, and then, oh look, what's that? Oh, it's a hole in space.
So what we seem to see was a rip in the fabric of reality, which was conveyed by showing the moon.
A screen wipe in
the
reality.
Moon moving really badly, and then I think it was meant to be another version of Earth through this hole, and then it kind of fixes itself. And Arturo says, I think this means there might not be a tomorrow, which would imply that they literally destroyed.
Except there won't be a tomorrow. There'll be a yesterday. But there we go.
There won't be. There won't be anything going forwards. And I think for that reality, and then we get a shaking ground, which makes me think they basically just caused the apocalypse. So that whole reality is going to disappear because of the change he made. Because he broke time. He broke time in that reality. And it's like, right, well, glad you saved her then. You didn't just destroy the Earth. You fucked any worlds of life or anything in this universe. Because time is gone. Time, you broke
in,
time.
Quinn wants to save the day, ends up destroying reality.
I like the fact that we then slide out and we get to another world very briefly at the end, and there's a phone booth, and Remy's like, do you want to reach out to her? And he just sort of looks miserable. It ends on this shot of Quinn. I'm hoping it's Quinn not just being horny and not getting some, and I hope he is thinking, oh yeah, I did destroy that reality, and there is some guilt to that, because the look on his face is much more like, it never seems to work out. She's always with the Canadian fella who's a dick.
Looks like I destroyed a reality. Bum, 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 boo. You know.
Sliders back for season 3, and it's like that's the end of season 2, and it's like, okay. I will say, right,
did Wade have anything to do in this episode?
I don't think she said or did anything.
I mean, I know this was clearly a Quinn heavy episode, but even normally there's some usage of the other two.
So I think you got a few Arturo jibes, and you got Remy helping him, talking to him a bit. But Wade basically showed up at those 2 court scenes, and that was it.
I thought maybe she was going to turn out to be the lawyer or something, but like, oh, cool, that's it. No,
We had enough ideas in this episode.
This was a Wade light episode for sure.
But I think they made up for it. Like, this was ambitious. There was some concepts at play there. Like, so the socio-economic concepts of a Spanish America, and then, you know, the concept of what it would be like if you had a chance to rekindle a romantic relationship with a teenage flame, you know,
and what if you
add that classic fantasy, and then what would it be like? But you know, that bit was them exploring the idea of time. You know, people's lives move on, and they find people, you know, and they get complicated and stuff. It was a good bit of drama. That second
as time goes by,
and then the third one is this huge, impossible sci-fi concept that they just bit off more than they could chew, and I think there's some really fun elements in this episode. And it started really slow. I was quite bored in that first one until things started to actually happen and stuff. But like when you actually look at them and pick them apart, I think they did some good work here. And I just think that final one and the ending is a weird place to leave a season of television. But I enjoyed it. It was quite good. We talked about it for quite a long time.
It was one of the
really a lot in there.
It was one of the more fun episodes, I'll say. Maybe not always for the right reasons, but I think it, like you said, did just try to bite off a little bit more than it could chew.
That was a lot, wasn't it, for 42 minutes or whatever of television?
You got
3 distinct
almost
worlds.
a quarter of an hour per world, which is not a lot.
Nope. Not a lot of time. Not a lot of time to like try and tell what were actually quite contained storylines.
Obviously, there is the Dalen link, but we've got
the idea that they keep interacting with the same characters was the kind of the concept, but it was almost like a side concept to the other stuff at play, and just Quinn being really lonely and thirsty and a bit miserable, and there was a lot going
right
on
there, thirsting for him.
Yeah, just it's always what's right in front of you, mate. Yeah, unfortunate. But no, it was good. I liked it. So how do we? Do you want to just quickly talk about season 2?
No. Yes. No, I'm kidding.
Right. So
it's been a roller coaster.
Let's look back. Right. First of all, let's look back because we did season 1 a long time ago. It was what was it? A 3-year gap.
I mean,
before we came back, season 2.
Quite a while before even first lockdown. It was like what? 2018, I think. Maybe
2 years, 3 years, something like that. It was a long time. And we came back mostly because people kept asking me when you're going to come back, which kept it fresh in my mind. And we made it happen, and we're back. And then season 2 is, I think for the most part, pretty good. It's not as strong as season 1. Obviously, there's more to it, and I'm terrified of 25 episodes in season 3. But you know, we struggled a bit in the middle part where we had, I think, the problem there was we had a couple, 2 or 3 episodes back to back that were all very mediocre. and that certainly hurt my enthusiasm for the show somewhat.
Because it started off on a very strong point with some good eps.
Really good, really good. And then it's ended, I think, strongly as well. Like, we've had two, three decent to good or more episodes.
I still don't feel this is a finale episode, though.
No, it's not.
Although
but there isn't one. I mean, I told you what was
season one
was it?
finale. I don't think that one was really a quote unquote finale episode either.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, it just seems to be that's the format of Sliders, sort of. Seems to be how they do things. But no, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it on balance. We're now getting into quite uncharted territory for me because I don't think I stuck with it much more than in my first time through, like season 3, mid-season 3 area.
How many seasons are there?
There are 5 seasons.
5? Oh, gosh.
5. We're not even halfway yet, Nate. But we won't be off air for 2 more years. I can tell you that. We will be coming back with possibly a special episode, or we're just going to season 3. But we will take a bit of a break, I think, just to recharge and have a little
prepare
chill
ourselves
out.
Mentally.
Get ourselves in that place where we're excited for more Sliders. And we won't. It will not be 2 or 3 years of gap because that was nuts. But we will be back with more. But I think season 2 was pretty good. It sets up some big stuff with Invasion, which definitely won't be the end of that. What about you? Any final thoughts on the season?
No.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
I think, like I said, I think it had certain episodes. I think could possibly be the best ones we've seen so far. But like you say, I think those sort of a few middle ones were just so mediocre. It pulled you down a little bit. Slogging through the middle of the series.
Season.
So we had the I've forgotten what it's called now. The sperm donor men one.
Yeah,
that
was
one,
good.
Which was a very good one, and then sort of slowly went down a bit until we got like the dinosaur one.
Okay, I mean that's. I mean, yeah. So we had Into the Mystic, which wasn't the greatest. We had Love Gods, Sperm Doctor, which was good. We had Gillian of the Spirits, which was Ghost Quinn, which was quite a good episode. I remember that one. The Good, the Bad, and the Wealthy. I don't think we liked that one. Do you remember that?
I think that was this section here of about 2 or 3 that...
No, because then we had El Cid, which I think was pretty good.
Oh, was that with...
Negan from The Walking Dead. Yeah. El Negan. And then we had Time Again and World, which was that weird one about where the Constitution had been outlawed and all of that. Do you remember that? That wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, that one.
And I think so that was a downer. And then Indino Veritas wasn't great. But then we had Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome, which was really good. Then we had Obsession, which wasn't the best. Followed by Greatfellas, which wasn't the best.
Was not great.
And then we had The Young and the Relentless, which is the pick
one.
Up here. Invasion, and then as time goes by. Yeah. So, it's up and down, isn't it? There's a few peaks and troughs.
If it had been kept in original recording order, if it would have balanced it out a bit better.
I mean, it's really hard to say because it would change your entire interpretation, wouldn't it? Of it. It may or may not make it better. I don't know. I tell you what, in 10 years, we'll do it all again in production order.
Oh, perfect.
How does that sound? We'll see if we like it more. But no, look, so what I'm saying is we might come back with a special. We're still really struggling because the one that everybody's recommended, Parallels, you just can't get it in the UK. And I've looked at multiple avenues, we shall say, and there is just no good way of getting this show. So I don't think we're going to do that. I had somebody send me the kind offer of some really good fanfic they'd written, which was changed scripts that involved the original characters from later seasons. Now, I'm a bit reluctant to do that because obviously I don't want to spoil anything for Nathan. Beyond that, we're struggling. So please come back to us with some suggestions. We would really, really, really appreciate some suggestions. And it doesn't have to be obvious. It could be like, sliders related. Maybe there's an alternative dimension. I've looked at a few things and, maybe there's something alternative-y about it and stuff. We don't want to go too far. We don't want to go just like 90s TV because there are some quality shows I'd love to introduce to Nathan. The one that comes to mind is Space Above and Beyond, which I adore, and it only had one season. And I think Nathan would find kitsch and hilarious and brilliant, but it's not Sliders related. But there you go.
I was hoping we'd do Airwolf, but I don't think that's related at all.
Airwolf is brilliant too, but that's more 80s than 90s, or at least really early 90s. So pop some suggestions to us over Twitter, on the YouTube comments, or in the Sliders subreddit, where I lurk now a lot and talk to those guys, and they're a really good bunch. But yeah, we'll be back maybe with a special. If not, we might just dive straight into season 3 at some point. Like I said, we're going to take a little break. I'm not going to say exactly how long, but we will be back. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for more Circling the Vortex. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Nate, before I wrap us up?
Oh no, I think you've put a nice little end to that one.
Been a still bow.
Series 2.
Still bow for you.
But yeah, I'm excited for Series 3. I've pretty much managed to avoid any and all spoilers. I occasionally try and go on the Reddit and then have to quickly leave it because I'm like, no, there's a reference to. Oh no.
There's no. If anything, the Reddit has picked up a lot of late, and there's a lot more people posting stuff just straight up there.
I was like, I'll
it
see
will spoil stuff.
If it says some Circling the Vortex. Oh no, gosh, no. There's a reference to an episode I haven't seen yet. Stay away from that. It's scary. I'm looking forward to Series 3.
Yeah.
Seeing what happens. I want a bit more character development for Remy.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing stuff I've never seen before. So I've got to be careful. I'm going to try and avoid reading episode descriptions and stuff on the wiki. That's another question to ask the community. Should we do it in airing order?
Yes, we have.
Or should we do it in production order? I'm happy to take. I'll put this in the post as well, but any and all suggestions. Like I'm open to either way of doing this because I'm curious to see if it will make the show better.
Should we do it in alphabetical order? What? No.
Okay. It would make as much sense as Fox who aired this, but potentially.
True.
So yeah. But no, it's been a journey. I'm glad we came back. I've been loved doing this, Nate, and I look forward to doing more. So yeah, until season 3 or a special,
it's been a pleasure and an honour to do this, Ben.
Pleasure and an honour. We will catch you again soon. Have a lovely time. Please follow us on at Experience Kills on Twitter, where we update when we post a new episode and stuff. So it's a good way of keeping on top of that, as well as other stuff. Please give us a like and subscribe on the YouTube, and bear in mind you can also find these in audio form, which is how most people actually listen to this. They listen on podcasts, and you can get those on iTunes and Spotify. Yeah,
I listen to the non-audio version myself.
So just the waveform going up and down on YouTube. Fantastic.
I just interpret that.
It's the way I intended this to be enjoyed.
Visual media podcast.
Just watch that waveform. And you know what? If you guys want us to do this on video, we could. Let us know. It'd be fun. Nathan's now really like, I don't want to be on video. Let us know. Lots of feedback options. So, what's special? Should we do it in production order or airing order? Or do you want us on video as well? It'd be a brave choice. Let us know in that subreddit and Twitter and in the YouTube comments. Until next time, I've been Ben.
I've been Nathan.
We're back soon.
See you on the flip slide.
I love it. See you on the flip side. Slide. I got it wrong. I suck. Bye.